right.
And yeah, we made it. We got talking backstage and we looked at, oh, look what time it is.
I couldn't shut up. Apparently, I was trying,
We're
but
playing
it's been
catch
so
up.
long. Yeah, we
Yeah,
had,
it's been about a year, I think.
yeah.
Since we all did a show together. So everybody, Lennan Smith is back for some poetry. And I am just going to open because we'll give people a few minutes to come in here because because with the new channel, I have some new subscribers who may not be familiar with you. And of course, there's my mod extraordinaire popping in Lennon's YouTube channel and her link tree. I mean, Jax is the mod extraordinaire. And and yes, smack that sassy. We all love it. We all love a good smack. This is how Jax and I roll my channel in chat. And we have the beautiful, wonderful, loving Magus. Hello, Magus, my dear.
Hey, Magus. Hey.
And he says, so excited. I'm like, I am too. But he was like here. I think he was the first one here. Yep. And he's like, this is going to be awesome. And I'm like, you have no idea. You bet your pen and paper it will be. Heather wasn't more clever than that.
I've got so much on my desk. Not just usually I just have my handy dandy notebook and a pen with me. But I was able to transcribe the poems that I did write for this.
But let's see. We also got Moira popping in. I know I've got stuff all over the place. Sometimes I have like 3 pages trying to figure out a poem, and it's just like, 10 minutes or so before I need to be backstage. Oh, the poem wants to start writing itself now. And I'm like, you could have thought of that like this morning.
But that is such the nature of poetry though, for real, because I'll write some and then I'll ruminate on it and then it just won't coalesce. And I'm like, oh, and then I'll go on something else or go on about my day. And then I realize that what I wanted to say will literally come out when I'm doing something completely unrelated. Like I'll be doing dishes or I'll shove laundry in the dryer. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, that's what that line is supposed to say.
Or you're driving, you hear a song on the radio. Listen to me, I hear music and I'm like, oh shit, am I going to be remembered to be able to remember that when I get home? And usually, and Maura says, I love Lennon's pomegranate veil. Pomegranate.
Thank you.
And we have Lori here, Craigie Brooke Witchery. Hello, hello. So we got 9 people, it says, watching. So I am just going to open up the floor and let my guest share all about herself. You've got a 3rd book coming out, right? This is your 3rd book?
No, I've written and published 5 so far. Yeah.
And I still haven't done one yet.
Well, I did Immaculate Immortality, which is my goddess one. And then I did Feral Witch, which is all the seasonal, the witchcraft seasonal ones that I did. That one was so good. It came out.
I'm out of the loop.
And then I did Feral Monologues, which is about my life. Those are just my poems about life. And then I did Night Mother, which is actually a devotional set of poetry to the Night Mother, which is an aspect of my soul that I talk to. It sounds weird, but I explained it better in the introduction of that book. And then Carpe Magica, which is my biggest to date, is 320 something pages of poetry and my drawings. I've illustrated a lot of them. But
yes, I saw that in that one video.
The one that's coming out, tentative date, the next one, my 6th one to come out, is in around Beltane, maybe in May. I've already illustrated it, but it's called Ugly Eden. And it's all about like the fall of man and the creation story. And it's really about finding paradise now. And I really wanted to ingrain myself into like the creation story and the biblical narrative, even though the Bible really doesn't play much of a role in the poetry itself. But in terms of research, it has. And mostly we all have that like myth, right? Like that myth that we just love, that we keep coming back to. And my 2 are the creation story. And that's across all pantheons, because I love the creation story from like the Epic of Gilgamesh and like beyond, like the Anunnaki. And I really love researching creation stories in a total sense. And so this Ugly Eden is really about how we've kind of lost touch with Eden, and it's an archetype, and we need to get back to it. And so I'm really excited about what that's coming. But I'm actually working on other types of books, because Magic Manifesto, when it came out, that's my real book. Like, I guess not a poetry book, but it's a real book. And so, right. So I'm actually working on other things that will be, I guess you could say, like real nonfiction instead of just poetry collections. So I've been really working on that. And I've been getting back into my art. Like I'm a visual artist, and I know you are too. I know we're art sisters. So in turn, like poetry had dominated so much of my life last year, because I published all five of the books last year, plus Magic Manifesto. And then I know it dominated. I mean, literally, it dominated me. I just had it. My creative flow was just pouring out. And then when I lost my dog, Missy, it was it was so upsetting. But it almost acted like, once she became this kind of spirit, it was like my creativity just would not stop. It was just flowing like a waterfall, and I just had to keep getting things on paper. And now I feel like at a very lull place where I'm still able to generate, but it's not at the flow state it was. So it's been like this, like you've hit the brakes too hard and you're like, arr! And so I feel like that right now with my poetry, but then I've gotten back into my primitive art that I love so much. And that's been helping me transition. So I'm hoping that by my birthday's in February, I'm hoping to get back into the mode.
Early happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yep, I'm an Aquarius. So
Moira, we had a couple of questions, of course, from Moira. She answered that are all Lennan's books poetry. And no, when you said one was on magic. And then you're going to be doing a couple of other nonfiction. She's like the Ani DeFranco of our YouTube community. It's like releasing, an album every single year, where you're like, where do you have time? But I think even super succeeded that. 5 books in 1 year, and then. But
it was. I mean, I do self-publish. I haven't gotten the throes of. Well, I'll say this.
I learned how to do that.
I'm not a perfectionist. Not really. So I'm not one of those that doesn't traditional publish, because I want like everything just right, everything just perfect. I'm not like that. I don't really, but
that's me.
But I have certain standards, and I had certain like ways that I needed the books to be laid out. And I wanted my drawings in the books, and I know that my primitive art would not have gone over well with a traditional publisher. They would have wanted to take out my art, and they probably would have done their own cover. I wouldn't have had any say in cover design. And I think for Feral Monologues, I took that picture myself on the cover of myself, and that was important to me. But I know that they wouldn't have allowed that kind of a cover. So
this is full creative control over your.
I had full creative agency over the books. Now that does mean that, unfortunately, that means that my books are only on Amazon. So there's a lot of talk. People are boycotting Amazon, and I completely understand that mindset, because it is a huge conglomerate, and I wish that I could get some of my books traditional public so that they could be in like bookstores. So I'll say this, to self-publish in a way that would have your books in libraries and bookstores is really expensive. You have to buy your own ISBNs. You have to buy copy editor rights and all that. And it's more expensive than people realize. And then traditional publishing is not all it's cracked up to be either. They give you an advance, like usually it's around $10,000 to $15,000. And then you publish, then when they're publishing, if you don't make $15,000, you owe them whatever you don't sell. So it's like a contract. And I was like, I don't know if I'm on the dotted line there, because I didn't know at the time. I'm a small YouTuber, so it's not like I've got 50,000 subscribers, to be like, everyone go buy my book for the publishers, and they even ask you, like at Llewellyn and stuff, they even ask you like how many subscribers and social media you have. So that was just really scary. So I self-published because of that. But I think because my last book was a nonfiction book about magic, I was super proud that I was able to knock that out after self-publishing so many poetry books, because it was like I stopped poetry, just shut like blinders on a horse, and I was like, I'm only focusing on magic right now, and that was pretty tough. But I worked really hard on that book. But then, like I said, I'm really wanting to work more, but not at the pace I was before. So.
Sometimes when that inspiration hits, we go with the flow. There are times that I've shared with people, I 1 year I was just painting so much that boom, at one point it was gone. I was like 3 months, and I'm like, okay, it'll come back. Let's focus on something else. And then I saw one painting by this artist who was amazing, and then boom, it shoots off again. So sometimes we just have to let that well of creativity refill up.
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah, really Amazon like.
Let's see. Amazon makes it possible for me, but you do not make much money on the books. It is what it is.
Well, Amazon, you make royalties, and you don't. It's not like a paycheck. It's royalties. So it's basically like because they publish your books for you. It's basically like print on demand. You put in your files, your PDF files of the book and the cover art that you designed. And I'm pretty transparent about this. This is what it is. You upload it, and then they'll print it for you. And then they have a print cost, right? And that would come off of what you generate the prices. And you're in control of that. And then there's a percentage of that price that you get. So I think on average, I make $3 a book. So that's not a lot of money, but
like Moira says, it gets you out into the world.
Yeah, and it still feels surreal to me that I've got books out that anyone can buy, like anyone. So I think the only part of publishing any kind of book, really, I would never want people to think that just because I publish my poetry that I'm somehow good at it or better than anyone.
Oh, girl, please. No self-deprecation. You have been on my channel a couple times on the old one, and the things that you write and you've read and things that Nancy has shared. Girl, you can write. You're a poet. I mean, don't. It's like, don't even go there.
Well, I want people to know that,
we are perfectionists.
Yeah. No, well, and it's more so that like, I want people to know that writing poetry is a beautiful, like one of the oldest forms of storytelling we have, one of the oldest forms of magic we have in our bodies and in our souls. And poetry has always come naturally to me, but the poets out there that are wanting to get the word out, it wasn't important for me to publish, but I knew that if I didn't, these composition notebooks are full of my poetry, but it's like they don't last, right? There's not a succinct, cohesive book about my life or this stage of my life or about my feral witchcraft or about the night mother who I love so much that lives in my soul. She's real feral and, kind of gruesome, and I love her. And this kind of thing, it was important to me to fulfill my dreams of the book, but it's like at the end of the day, I just needed to get them out there. And it still feels surreal when someone says, oh, I bought blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just want the poets out there to know that if you've got notebooks full of stuff, it was a lot easier than I think. Yeah, exactly.
And that's after I culled, another bit that was that much.
I know. I've culled so many too, and like ripped pages out. But mine are like,
I had to move. Yeah.
I'll tell y'all something that I discovered this year. Okay. Wait, what is you pin about Rochelle?
Well, first of all, let me just back up. And Marissa, what if you sell digital product instead of print on demand?
Yeah.
And then Rochelle said, I'm making about $5 for the planners that I did, and they are like $40 a piece. Granted, they are color and larger books, which are much more expensive to produce. And I agree with Rochelle here. People, I love books. I love to pick up a book. I love to, feel them and smell them and hold them. So for me, I've never been one really for digital.
Like for mine, where is it?
And Irene says the same thing. I won't buy digital. I can't do real reading without the book in my hand. And
I use the program to like transcribe my poetry, and it's not like Word, and you have to make PDFs out of them anyway. And so, but formatting them, you have to format them in Word or Google Docs to make like ebooks, right? Like you could read on your phone. I wanted to do that. But then I've been going down this rabbit hole so hard of trying to format, and it is way hard. Like I don't know people do it without help, and I haven't been successful.
I'll be the first to admit.
Yeah, I haven't been successful, but here's how neurotic I can be. I might not be a perfectionist, but I can be neurotic. Now, here is, y'all are looking at it first, okay? Here is a copy of Ugly Eden.
Ooh la la.
Right. Now, I don't know. They may make me cover her up. I hope they don't. But that's a picture of Lilith by John Collier. And this is the cover, right? The tentative cover. It's completely blank. Like, it's for me to write, or it was for me to write the poetry in and to do some like drawings and like figure out the design layout. And so it was really like, it's really ended up being like some sort of like weird journal for me. Like,
and you can write in it too. You buy it, you can add your thoughts.
And it ends up being like this cool notebook that will end up being like an actual book someday. But I could write anything I want in this. I even have a word list. I love making word lists. Like I'll just
Pinterest.
Yes. Oh my God. And I'll just like go down the list, and like just having one word sends me to the stars. Like it can generate a whole poem just by off one word. So
I love the one word list I have in Pinterest, because I am not good with titling my artwork. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, let's look at you and let's start looking. Does anything feel like, and Pinterest helps.
Yeah. And see, I'm the complete opposite. Like I've already titled so many of these, like I've already said, I already know I want a poem called The Longing. And then this one is called Sanctified Catabasis. Like I already had like tentative titles for this kind of stuff, and it's so cool to just have like, I love words,
When you said sanctify, all I heard was that song from the 80s by Simple Minds. Sanctify yourself. See, for me, music is where I get my inspiration. Yeah. I will be listening to music and I gotta write that down. I gotta use that somehow.
God, lyrics are so powerful. It's poetry. It's all poetry anyway. Do you prefer working lyrical music versus like instrumental? Do you have a preference?
So for me, in the mornings when I want to write my own poetry, I've got like a list of certain types of ambient music like that I like Robert Rich and all these other ones, and it kind of certain sounds that kind of keeps me in that mind space where because I can't write poetry if I'm listening to lyrical music. It's got to be like an ambient, instrumental. And then though during the day when I listen to music, I'll hear certain things. I'm like, I have to use that. Like just the other day, I love Florence and the Machine.
Me too.
I haven't listened to her in a while. She came out with an album. You can curse on her. Holy fucking shit. Her last album, I got to pull up. The words have just been absolutely.
She is such a good wordsmith, and she always has been. Her first album was like, I was like, man, you are getting it. Like she could have published a whole book.
Everybody screamed the chamber version. Yeah. And the lyrics in these songs. Like there was one, no. Don't play the music. No. I just want to see the lyric. No. God damn it. It just starts with open my legs, lie down with death. We kiss, we sigh, we sweat. His blackberry mouth stains my nightgown. I pull him close, wrap my legs around, and it twists like life. I twist, I bite. The foxes chatter in the night. And it goes on. I'm just like,
and you're like you're spiraling with her, like
and I'm like, oh my God,
every
how
time
can
I listen
I
to her, I feel
write like that?
I know I feel so much bigger than I am, when I listen to her. Like she's got this song called or I don't want to say the band has a song called Big God, and
Yes.
it's so visceral. It sounds freaking ancestral, and I feel so huge. Like I feel like a giantess in a way, and like I'm like I don't know why, but I feel humongous. Like I'm tall as a building.
And the lyrics I was just sharing, is from a song called Witch Dance. And when I saw the witch, I was like, what? Whoa, wait a minute, let me see, and yeah. I was listening to this album and I was listening to the last one while I was painting today. And I'm just like, oh my God, I got to do a whole series of paintings just listening to her on one of these albums.
Yeah.
That's where,
she would probably love like a whole exhibition of people that painted her, like that would be influenced by her lyrics. She'd probably love that,
Tori Amos, Florence,
Apple.
Fiona, it takes a while to get PJ Harvey, but there was Amy Lee, Evanescence. I mean, my God,
yeah.
I can't believe it's been 30 years since.
No, but she's working on new stuff now, which is crazy.
And still Evanescence, but it's not the same band throughout.
I know. It's not. I know it's not the same tweaks. I know, but she still got a fantastic voice. All these people are like, even Stevie Nicks to a point has this kind of wordsmithing about them.
Yes,
like golly,
her early stuff.
Yeah,
some of her newer stuff, I'm just kind of like,
yeah, but like, I mean, like 1970, like Rumors, like those.
For me, Wild Heart.
I know. Yeah, my dad.
Everything from that back.
My dad's song for me is Gypsy. And he used to sing that to me growing up.
That's beautiful.
That's what he said that this is just, he was like, Lennon, this is just your song.
Yeah.
So
I think it was, Rock a Little was okay. Then after a while, there were a few songs here and there. And then, Trouble in Shangri-La. I mean, she nailed that album and she had help with Sheryl Crow on that. But after that, she started working with Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics. And I don't know, to me, I know she was getting older. She couldn't really hit certain notes, but she lost that gravelly kind of like rock. I mean, for me, a lot of people I grew up younger listening to, I don't really listen as much to their newer stuff because I've noticed that, like with Tori and with Ani, they became mothers and music does change. When people like Tori, Alanis, Ani, their music styles change. And I miss that fiery energy we had, they had when they were in their 20s and 30s. And that's why with Florence, I'm like, she's still nailing it.
Yeah. And we're seeing her, and I feel, that's what we were talking about, like backstage too, a little bit about the stigmata, because a lot of it is like, once you become a mother, your priorities change. You don't have a lot, you feel like you don't have a lot of time for your own creativity. And I'm not about that. If I'm in a creative flow, I'm like, I am not, I have to outsource the help to someone else, but specifically my husband. But I'll be like, I'm not a mother right now. I am a poet. Okay, thank you very much. And I need that time because I never wanted to lose it about myself, because I saw so many of the women in my family lose lots of themselves, and they make this kind of mothering time their priority. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that I saw them lose themselves, And like one creator that I love is Patti Smith.
Yeah.
I don't. She was so mystical back in the day in the 70s, but she's still rocking, and she's still got this kind of gravitas about her that I just love. Like, it's like, I've talked about her and Nick Cave a little bit, and I feel like they have this kind of, I mean, in Nick Cave, he lost a couple of his children, and that was like
man.
crazy. But some of these creators have this way about them that you can tell that these creative endeavors are still very much a part of them, and like you said about Florence, it's still like part of her soul, and when something's part of your soul, you don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And it can be really like, it can make people like us, like me, feel guilty about wanting to stay creative. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, this is my soul. Like I'm betraying myself if I don't do this, So.
And another one, Sinead O'Connor. I mean, the stuff that she wrote. And up until she passed, she never lost her voice. She never lost that fight. Unfortunately, things got to her with her mental health and the loss of her child, but she always carried that fire and was never apologetic about who she was and what she said. And and I know Rochelle just shared something too. We have people joining us. We have Janet Lee. We have Carolina, who is Aquarius Tarot Adventure. So everybody coming in, thank you for being here. And Rochelle said that was the hardest time in my life when my kids were little, because I lost a lot of myself during those years. As much as I love my children and have no regrets, I was in a funk for a few years. When did she finish her thought? They were little, And I'm not knocking, women at all for changing with having kids. I just noticed that the music changed. There's, different, their direction, their focus. And it was just kind of like, to me, it kind of lost, I still need that, like the righteous babe, let's do this.
Right.
I was like,
and if we, embodying it was, I'll say the hardest thing for me in the last few years was because my oldest two are like old teenagers. Okay. Like they were like 16, right? Well, right now one's 16 and one's 18, right?
Oh my God. I would never have known that if you didn't tell me that, girl. Wow.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't remember you having kids, not at that age either.
Yeah. I mean, well, me and my husband have been married 20 years next year, and we had babies young. So, and we, and it feels like that. And see, they were so old that when they would be at school would be my time to like have my creative time. And then I could devote myself to, like, I even scheduled it out to where I would like, okay, I all my chores were scheduled, and I would like, and I got into a flow, right? And it's easy to get into ruts with that, but I had to schedule it. And then I was like, okay, this couple of hours I'm blocking out for my creativity, and I would do whatever I needed to do. And usually I would have that scheduled, like, okay, Monday and Tuesday, I need to do some painting, and then I need to do some poetry, and I would schedule it out. And it would be good because I had that 8 hours they were at school to kind of map it out. But then I got pregnant with my last child a few years ago, because me and my husband don't know what happens. We didn't know what happened. We're all,
you don't know what happens? Well, when you do this and you do that, that can happen.
We got pregnant. I had some health issues where I had to get off birth control. And then we were like, we've never been without birth control. We don't know how to do it. So then it was like, then we got pregnant, and we acted like we didn't know, like it was some miracle Mary thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, okay, we're not that crazy.
Immaculate Conception. That's the name for another book, Immaculate Mortality. Well, it comes along with Immaculate Conception.
And that had a lot to do with why I named that book that.
Oh, really?
Yes, because me and my husband, we would joke about it, but we were in a state of like, what do we do? Like we would have, like we saw the finish line, like my oldest at the time was like, I think 16. And I was like, these almost graduated high school, for crying out loud. Like, what is going on? And then anyway, so the youngest just turned 3. Okay. And it has been a roller coaster because we had to start all over and having a toddler again. And, and it's fun. And and then right now we're potty training. So there's pee everywhere, just all the time. Okay. And it's a rough time
It's life.
Toddlerhood, motherhood is probably the worst, because you're having to teach them how to talk too. They have to form sentences, learn stuff, like learn their rudimentary stuff, like shapes and colors and blah, blah, blah. And then you have to teach them how to pee in the toilet.
And poop.
And poop. And it's like one of the hardest things, but they demand so much at this age from you that my creativity, and that's probably another reason, like when he was little, a baby, like still on the teat, I could cart him around and still do my stuff. And I could just be holding him or, stick a nipple in his mouth, and then it would still be okay. And I could be holding him and be nurturing while still writing and while still creating. But now that he's like running around and everything, you have to kind of put yourself in lull moments. And I never wanted to lose my identity.
Yeah, that's what Rochelle said too.
Yeah, and because you do, and like I said, I saw so many of the women in my family especially go through that, where they just lost themselves, and then once they became empty nesters, their kids went off to college, they had no hobbies, no life, no friends, and they were so ingrained into their motherhood they didn't know how not to be, and it was scary. I was like, I can't let this happen to me. It's like one of those times where you wake up and you see your mom in the mirror and you're like, oh my
God. I see that too often. I hear my sister, I see my mother, and I'm like, oh, this is why I can't watch my videos over or anything, because I hear and tend to see my sister and my mother. And right now that's part of my trauma-informed recovery work right now. But yeah, it's kind of insane when you look in and you see all that. So, and for me, I knew at a young age, because I was like a kid, and I was left with my niece and nephew to take care of them when their mother was gone and my mother was working. And that's hard for a kid to take care of and I knew then that motherhood was not for me. I knew that I needed, when my sister came home, and my sister, it was just like freedom. It was just, I just knew that my art, whatever I do, my school and everything was just going to have to come first. That, not to mention, some of the lovely little things that we get passed down genetically with temper and sometimes abuse and having to break patterns and things, not going too much down that rabbit hole. But I just knew that I would not be a good mother. I was happy to be an auntie, because then they go home, afterwards, and I can do my art with them and this and that. But for me, I just knew motherhood, was just not right for me. And hi, Fatima. So, and Rochelle said,
like someone said, that motherhood is a gift. I can't think that's going now. Aquarius Tarot Adventures. Motherhood has been a gift, because one of the surreal things about having a child is that they're yours, and it's one of these, like, it's the biggest. I remember my parents, when I got pregnant the very first time, I was young, they said, you'll never love anything more than you do your kids. Like it's a different type of love. And they were right, because and we are so different, though, I'll say, with our children and with our progeny than any other animal in the animal kingdom. So studying motherhood in other animal, like, I don't want to say cultures, but in the animal kingdom specifically, has taught a lot about, like, keeping up with who I am as a being, and how I'm having to project that onto, or I will, like you said, like there's always, you're projecting this stuff on whatever you're going through onto your kids. And that's scary, but it's such a gift because they give back in such subtle ways. You don't even realize that they're giving back to you until they're older.
I was happy to have fur babies, and sometimes it's just like, I still, because after we moved here, we lost Ziva, and she was sick and we weren't going to leave her behind. And so up until then, it was like, Mozzie, leave Ziva alone. Ziva, leave Mozzie alone. Would you two knock it off? Do I have to come in? It was almost at times like having kids to a degree because,
Right.
So for me, I was happy being a fur mom. And hello, Glorious. Welcome, my dear. Yep, for people coming in that is new to my channel, might be new. This is Lennan Smith. She is an author, 5 books, and one of your videos, self-proclaimed witch, correct? Well, you wrote a book on witchcraft or magic. I know there was a video. I recommend everybody going and checking out Lennon's video. She does these pre-recorded commentaries where she's just her. And that's why I love that you just keep going and going. Sometimes we go off tangents. That's fine. Let's just go off of here for a bit. And so I enjoy listening to her, Mary Grace, when I'm doing, my artwork or I'm working at camera sign. I just absolutely love, it's being authentic to me. It's being real. It's life. And if you hear anything, that's Mossy in the back. But so yeah. Jax, thank you. She's been putting your link tree in your YouTube channel. Thank you for that, my dear. And we will eventually get to read some poetry, but I just love having conversations too. So.
Here we are supposed to be having a poetry live, and then we can't see.
Well, this is things with my shows. They form and they go organically. I like when they take a life of its own, and at some point we'll get there. Oh, right. Bye, Magus. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, my friend. And thank you for the shout out to that nice little shout out you gave me on your channel. Or meow, that's Mozzie. Come here. So but yeah. Let's see. Woo, come here, Maz. Heather, you asked before about the storm. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Everybody, including people back east, come here. Come on.
We're getting an ice storm right here in the south from that winter storm Fern. It's like whipping east, and we've just gotten some freezing rain out of it. So because we don't hardly ever get winter here, but
yeah. I mean, we have the exact opposite now where we are. We're supposed to get snow around January, February, at least a lot too in the mountains. This year, hardly anything. We were hitting 95 to 101 during the week, during summer, occasional rain. And I kind of missed the snow, for the holidays. I was like, but yet I could go out on Christmas and it was like, 55 degrees or so. And I could go so, that's
what it is here. It's about 55 degrees in December. Like,
I've been trying to get people to come on out to Oregon. Let's start a little commune. You'll be happy here. I'm in a very blue spot. I know I don't do politics, but here, I blue spot, environmentally, concerned and focused and very clean and very diverse. So it was a good fit.
No, I didn't realize that it got so hot in Oregon. It does?
Over the years, they said, sometimes they would have days where it would hit 100 or so, especially in Medford. But they said the last couple summers, their weather patterns are changing here too. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. But right now, every day this month, we've been having, it drops to about between 35, 40 at night. And then by the time the afternoon hits, it's in this 50, 54, 55. And, kids out playing basketball and T-shirts and whatnot. So, oh, Fatima, she's got a car buried in the snow.
Wow.
That I don't miss because Fatima was only a couple of hours from me in Niagara Falls. She's up in Toronto. So, and Moira is in Canada, up in Ottawa. Wow. So just be safe, y'all. Stay in. Don't go out if you don't have to. But yeah, is there anything else you want to share? Because it's been a good year since we've, really had a chance to catch up and, and really quick too. I'm still doing that live painting session with Jonathan. You said you've been wanting to get messy again. Let me know if you want to join Jonathan and I. He likes doing Fridays after he comes home from the gym, which is usually around 12 o'clock his time in Hawaii. That's 2 o'clock my time, and then that would be 5 o'clock Eastern. So next Friday, Gerald Tarot Stash is joining us because he does sewing. He does textile art. And when I saw your video and you're talking about, oh, I got to start getting messy again, the paint, I'm like, ooh. See if Lennon wants to join us for that too. So.
Ah, well, I'm going to think about that. Then probably will get me a lot grained in.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, do I get a lot done? No, because I'm checking chat, but at the same time, it's nice. Everyone's like, let's see what you're doing. And then Jonathan's doing his thing. And it's a lot of fun. We usually hang out for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll pull cards at the end for kind of like a little collective message. So, yeah.
Do you have any tarot? Because I got some.
Do I have any tarot, girl?
I mean, like out. Like, were you gonna get some tarot out for tonight? Is what I meant.
Yeah. I've got not all of them, but I'm surrounded by decks, and I figured if we wanted to do some mini readings after, along with a card with poetry, that's what I usually do, like we did before.
Yeah,
and
because I've only written 5. I've only managed to write 5 poems, so I hope that's enough.
Girl, I didn't even manage to finish one new one. Thank goodness I had some backup from last year. But no, you are my guest, and so go ahead and share your poems, my dear.
Well, I'm going. I was gonna ask, because they all feel so different, that I'm going to tell you what each one of them is about, and then you choose which one you want to hear first. So I have a poem called Silent Plains, like a landscape one. And then I have one called Childhood Bedroom. And then I have one called Alas, Day and Night. The next one is Urban Wishful Thinking. And then Erotic Dystopia.
Erotic Dystopia. Let's get right into it. We're smacking, but look at this. Whip it out. And smacking that sassy. So why not start? And we were talking with, with Florence and what she was sharing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and this isn't as sassy as it probably could be. It's really about, like, a couple of these feel like they've come from a place like of the world, like the state of the world, and they feel very dystopian in nature. These few, and then I don't know where the childhood bedroom one came, but it felt so apropos. Like, how when you're hurt, you just want your mom, like, or when you're sad, you just want to call somebody you really love. And it's like one of those, like, you kind of have this like weird, the world sucks, but I want to sleep in my childhood bed again kind of a feeling. I don't know. So, yeah. Okay. Anyway, rambling.
No, you're setting up the theme for your poem. So that's perfect.
So, erotic dystopia. Think empty as tears fall, for the erotic dystopia erects the bane of modernity. Tasks are nuanced byproducts, juxtaposed upon stone and claw, a fascination with turbulence. Red waters run deep under mountains with weaponized heat, a playful yet destructive manner. With a seated fear that lapses comatose in wakeful slumbers, a deafening projection withers. Lack of future details covers up an underpast of lost honor. Beginnings no longer have power. Freedom is paid with an element currency of tumbling pillars. Society fills as tears fall.
Wow. And she was saying in the beginning, well, I'm not a very good poet. Wow. That's amazing. I love that. And Jax, this used to be my playground. Oh my God. When you were mentioning the kids thing and she put that up there. Oh, that was one of the songs Madonna's that made me cry. There were a few. And yep, this used to be my playground. Oh, and yep, we get all the snaps. So we do the doing the snaps. So that's awesome. So, okay, let's see what I've got here. So a lot of my stuff is always like in the process of being rewritten because Heather has a hard time kind of just really. And there is because one of the reasons why I changed my channel name is that I started connecting with bones for some reason. I was seeing them in the hand painted oracle-like cards that I was painting. I would see things that made me think of bones. Driving here, to Oregon, I was seeing things in the sky that looked like they were bones, vertebrae, things breaking in the sky, and then connecting more with my, want to connect more with my ancestors. It just was just like, okay, this is something. And then, of course, this past year, I finally, you know, said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm starting to work with the Morrigan, Namarigna. So it's all about death, rebirth, and everything. So that's kind of what seems to be. I can't think of the right word that I would typically come to my head, but that's what is um, connecting all of my pieces together. There's another word I wanted to use, and I just can't remember it. But you did get that poem was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh,
And Jackson, my funny bone is connected to my mouth. So let's give this a shot. And if I stumble just a little bit, it's because it's still in a little bit of rewriting. Okay. And I have a hard time naming my poems. I usually wait till I know they're done, and then I'll find something in there that I think would make a good title for it. So Jaguar carries the bones, long kept hidden within hollows and liminal spaces of memory, lost amongst the ghosts of my past selves, taking form of rosettes upon her skin as she came to be the day and night, the sun and moon. Jaguar bestows me the bones to examine, to reshape, refine. I collect the bones in a basket woven from the fibers of my life's journey, each version of myself forming a circle. I join them, honoring and acknowledging our lifetimes together. So it's a little rough here and there, but I still like her.
I love how you utilize animals in your poetry. You've always really done that, but I love jaguar in that one. So it's like almost I feel like they're your bones, but they're the jaguar's bones too. And so it's like this shape shifting thing about it, you know?
Very cool. In my last channel, I didn't take the channel down. I'm still leaving it up to celebrate, that I've been on, YouTube, but its final name was Indigo Jaguar. So that's always going to be, a part of me. And now working with Namarigna, I'm going to be like, oh, we got the crows, we got the ravens. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So what you got next?
Okay, let's see.
Dealer's choice.
All right.
As they always tell me in chat, I go, what deck do you want? Which one should I? Dealer's choice.
Well, we'll do a last day and night. And to set this one up, I've been like obsessed with primitive art lately, like cave paintings and this, and I want to talk about this after I read the poem, but this concept of dusk, day or noon, night or dawn and night, and all four of the times of a day. And so I tried to kind of make this into this. So it's called A Last Day and Night. I slept in the noonday sun to be awakened by kerosene sounds, return to the cliff rock's edge and become grass blades swaying. I drew the dunes up to me. An unseen carpet of sand melts the hourglass that ticks me down. Sunsets light the tent flaps aflame. Lines keep me inside the home I steadily rebuild around myself, easy to convene the masses, clinging to starless haven's loft. Last beacons will surrender upon blazing sunrises, open in brine and seaweed tastes, a forged dawn for everyone but me.
When you said pulling up the dunes like a blanket and melt, oh my God, I love that.
So I've been obsessed with this, and I even wrote down when I wrote this in my journal, if dawn, day, night, dusk, and night, there's four times of the day, right? Which suits of the tarot would they be, right? Right, I know. Like I just had this thought, and I'm like, if this was a tarot deck, if dusk, well, let's go.
It would be earth to me, because that's when you can smell the damp, the dew, the earthy smell. as the sun goes down. And of course, to me, wands would be, the afternoon, the hottest part of the day.
Right. So, and see, I thought that fire would be dawn because of the sunrise and like
Mm.
that initial point of the sun. But like you said, fire in terms of seasons too, fire sounds like it would be noon, right? Like that should be noon. So day,
Swords is very morning to me because I'm thinking of air,
right.
thinking of the light colors, the medicine wheel, all kind of giving that to the east, to the sunrise. That's how Heather's brain works. I
Yeah, no,
connect with.
I like how you're using the directions too, like the cardinal directions,
Mm.
because dawn would be east. And you said like, I'm gonna write your ideas down because I want help with this. I want to journal about it later. And then like if swords is dawn, then fire is wands is the day, right? And then you
Mhm.
have um
Yeah, then you would have cups, which would be what, evening, but then at the same time, you know what? Cups can also be, I don't know. I remember as a child, for me, as the sun started to go down and the dew started forming on, that's when I could smell the trees in the backyard. I could smell the grass. I could
yeah,
smell, for me, memory, smell
right,
memory,
yeah.
my
And
connections.
like if night, the nighttime itself, that would be, now you said night would be air, right? Is that what you said?
No, I said dawn to me would be air because
Yeah.
that's where the sun rises.
Oh, that's right.
It's like the swords, the light colors, the beginning of the breath, the
Right.
beginning of a new
And
day.
the breath, that does sound really good. Um, so air, and then we've got fire, and then we've got water for dusk, and then,
I,
or no, earth. I'm sorry, earth. Earth for
for
dusk.
me, I think of water because here we go. Memories for me, when we were younger, you know, the afternoons, the evenings is when, we would go swimming, we would cool off, we would jump in the pool. It's just how Heather's, like I said,
Yeah. No, I'm
for
loving
me,
this.
water and earth is
This
like
is what I
west.
love. Like I love
Yeah.
to figure stuff out like this. And then if that leaves water for night, and then you think about it, uh, you know how like the night, I kind of think of like the moon card itself. Like you're not going to be able to hide your emotions in that watery realm when it's nighttime, because at night all water is like an abyss. It's just black on the bottom, right? It's like
Mhm.
this whole deep waters thing for the night, and how it's so it's not, well, it's not reflective, anymore as much as it is during the day. And I feel like that the depth of emotion at night would be higher. So that does make sense.
And it's interesting that you're talking about wanting to work with the times of the day because last year I must have at least 5 or 6 pages. I've been trying to connect because I love Twilight. I love the name of Twilight. I love the energy surrounding Twilight. So I've been trying to play with Twilight, sacrificing its last breath so that Dawn can breathe hers. And I have all these different, it just blew my mind. It was like a reminder, Heather, you have got to finish that piece, whether it's one or it's multiple. But I love playing with the times of day too because of the I don't know if I want to say tactile, but of the memory. I don't know what you would call that when you have memory recall,
Yeah,
sensory perception or yeah.
right. It's like it's activating those senses
Hmm.
for you. And Twilight's my favorite time too. Really, I just love.
So,
It's just
especially here at night, and then the moon starts to rise at certain times. You can see it above the mountains. Oh my
mm,
God, yeah. Every time I see that, I think of that lines that Stevie Nicks loves using in her songs, "Lady of the Mountain." She uses that a couple times in her songs. I'm like, yep, Lady of the Mountains, muscle memory.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
See, she thanks for me when. um. Oh my goodness, what next? So here, this one is still a little bit in the works, but okay. I follow her with my bowl, cradled like a child against my breast, made of bone, fossil, and shell, collecting delicate rosettes, crystals, and feathers. in the wake of her thick, padded paws as we travel together through the liquid fog of my lifetime, the threshold of pronehood approaching, like the fragments of memories of whom I once were, the bones, fossils, and river stones, tears of pain and joy, pigments that have colored my life. She is teaching me to let go, to dream again within the ink darkness of her muscular body, to scry until those fragments coalesce into a new sacred map. The Lady of the Mountain
Oh,
draws nigh, her black wings dark as night, iridescent butterfly wings and deer hooves swift and meandering as a nearby stream, awaiting my return, revealing herself when I'm no longer afraid to seek my true soul within the essence of our eyes.
mm.
I forgot. I had no idea I written that in there. It's been forever since I've looked at that.
Well, as look, as synchronistic as that is, I would name that poem "Lady of the Mountain."
I think so. Hey Shay. Shay, Magic with Moonlight is here, and we've been talking about moonlight. And thank you, Glorious. Thank you. Let's see, deja vu. Situational muscle memory, perhaps? Possibly. Alrighty, is there another one you want to share?
Yeah, we can jump to God, some of these sound so depressing once I've said them out loud, but I want to read Urban Wishful Thinking. So again, this is about this urban magic place, but also society at large too. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. Some of these are very surreal feeling, but okay. There are angels with no faces causing noises in the sky, a quake that no one remembers because their ears have grown blind. Tight messages align in the glass, fraudulent scans from a passerby, misused memories and drum beats generated in overstocked supply. A shop on some lone corner, brief encounters with iron fences. This soul has all but strengthened its mirage tales and sharper senses, but it remains every kind of desperate to reach the clouds it prays to, heights that were manufactured, but yet grew and were born and grew. Subtle gamble for timelessness, immortality is always on display, but Mother Nature is patient and will come back in future days.
Wow. I'm just typing something in here, just reminding people to be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe to your channel. Wow.
To yours too. You hit all the likes.
Yes. Well, when I have guests on, I like to make everyone focus on, Now, why is that spinning and spinning? What's wrong? There's something wrong with my internet. There we go. Wow, that was weird. Okay. Was there anything you wanted to talk about that poem?
Well, it feels again very dystopian, but like the whole point was that I didn't grow up in any kind of urban landscape, and sometimes it feels sometimes that I miss it, that I miss Urbania. Like I want to go to the city so bad. I want to be in this high rise hotel, and I want the views of a city. I want the lights of a city. I want the noise, and it almost feels very like past life almost, past life. Like I miss the city, even though I've never been raised there. And it's kind of about like the first line is there are angels with no faces, causing noises in the sky. And when I wrote, because their ears have grown blind, it's about this noiseless noise. It's about the like white noise that the city gives off, and how in the city, the personhood is feels there's kind of a voided personhood for me. Like when I'm in the city, I feel like I could talk to the passerbys and all that, but it's only going to be surface level. It's only going to be acquaintance level, like connection, right? Because there's just so many people, and I don't know, it's about memory, and it's about like one of the like towards the end, but it remains every kind of desperate. That means the city, the high rises are desperate to reach the clouds it prays to. Because I thought high
Mm-hmm.
rises would pray to something. It would be the clouds because they're trying to reach the clouds, like it's like the
That's a
ancient,
cool metaphor. Yeah.
you know, and then the heights were manufactured, but yet they were born and they grew, so they were born and they were made and they grew, but they were manufactured. So it's like this pull to man-made versus nature thing. This I also have to fight with my animism in a lot of ways because a lot of people that are considered or that consider themselves animists feel like man-made objects have a spirit and a soul because they were made by humans, right? Now, I've had to fight with my animism on that because I typically, when I think of the spirit world and the spirit realm, I typically only associate nature made things. So that's like
Mhm.
rocks and feathers and the animals themselves. And those things would in grass and trees, like the nature part of it. So I've never really gone into the man-made structures because they were made with human hands and how those things could have souls too. So it's really about a lot of me fighting with my animism.
And
So
if you think about it, that concrete, that brick, that
mhm,
rock,
yeah,
all came from the earth.
right.
The steel was forged
Mhm.
in fire. So in a way, and then you have, people adding their like, so I'm going to kind of step, and when people do like paranormal investigations, where you have a place that has had a lot of, especially intense energy, that gets absorbed into these walls, these floors, depending on the material. And that way, too, kind of imbues, buildings and man made things with a life of their own because they're holding collective memories,
And
too.
you can think about like the investigations, like the famous ones too, that were in insane asylums or
Yes.
in prisons like Sing Sing or Alcatraz, those ones that had such atrocities and
Mhm.
the places that were torturous to people there.
Mhm.
Um, that hold those places hold such spirit and like you said such energy that it would cling. What would it cling to? It would cling to those walls and that concrete and those steel bars or those iron bars, and it would just be like,
Takes a life upon of its own,
yeah.
like a
And so
poltergeist. So
yeah,
Amy Allen used to say, people create the poltergeist. It's that intense energy that we have that we don't know how to control, repressed emotions, psychic abilities that we're trying to stuff down, anger, things that, and what happens is those things become like energetic, emotional thought forms, psychic energy that tend to take on, a life of its own. Depending on, of course, what people believe. Not everybody will, but for me, I can understand that. That makes sense to me on a spiritual level. Things like that.
yeah.
So, but yeah,
Well,
things can take a psychic. Um, I don't know if these other two are kind of. Um, Yeah, I'm going to hold off on these two here because they're kind of wanting to be the same thing, and so they're kind of both like, da, da, da. So okay, I'm not even going to argue with them tonight. I have one little tiny one, and then we can finish with the other two. I think you still have two more, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
want to share? Okay, so let me get my last little one here out of the way, and then we can open up. Because on the old shows, we used to ask for prompts. We would pull cards.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is just asking anybody if they would like a one or two card reading, and and use words that are in the cards or come to mind, and write a quick little poem. That's what I've been doing. So let me know what resonates with you. What
Mhm.
gets you going, oh yeah, let's do that. So what gets you inspired? What lights that fiery wand? So small one, a little bit here. And again, reference to bones. Clouds breaking into bones, fragments of ether dissolving into woven shrouds, layers drifting within pools of blue, sheaths of imperceptible vapor, brushing salted lake encrusted mountains, powdered pastel blue, crystalline mirroring the dawn, expressing her first breath. And that was inspired driving through and past Salt Lake. I've never been through Utah. And when I saw that, I just did not realize, it's like, oh my God, this thing's huge. And the mountains were these beautiful blue pastel. I mean, it just, so yeah, it blew my mind. And that's where I saw some of the clouds that looked like they were vertebrae breaking up in the sky. And so when we got into town, I was starting to pull those memories and write them down, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't forget.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
the powder pastel blue. I love that
Mhm.
because we forget how much color is in landscape too.
Yeah.
I read a book called the Story of Turquoise, and it's a biography really, but of this painter, and she talks about living in, I think it's Santa Fe or something close to there,
Mhm.
um, and all the colors she can see in just one mountain, and it's about like the birth of color for her, and she goes
I
into
love
some
that.
historical context too. It's just so lovely. God. Um,
We had a couple
so,
comments I just wanted to share really quick. And everyone's still with us. Thank you. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And Irene says, we had another weird object moving by itself when I was mad last week. That could be possibly psychic energy. You know, people think that that's possible when we have that much energy that we're able to do things like that. Thought constructs. This can include such things such as Greek gods, etc. Witchcraft, spells, talismans all have power, but it is the thing that has power, or the thought, the intention that has power.
true,
That girl, yeah. I
true.
love what she brings to the table. And Irene says, I was mad and being sarcastic talking with my daughter about politics, and one of my Buddha statues literally jumped in the air and knocked my box of Christopher Butler's Healing Light Tarot deck.
Wow.
Well, I guess Buddha wanted you to say to, cool it down there, girl.
You know, my
Yeah.
goddess statue actually just fell off of its shelf. Nothing prompted it. I noticed it on the ground, broken, like her knee had shattered. And I was so devastated. But then it really couldn't have come at a better time. It was almost like the goddess was like, the one that I embody in the statue. It was like she was saying, I have to break because it was almost like she felt stifled in a way. And that
Mhm.
like that was the only way to morph into what I needed to morph into was to break apart with her. And it was just so profound, actually. Even though stuff breaking feels devastating, can feel devastating because you're like, oh my God, this is broke.
Mhm.
I didn't want it broke. I didn't want it broke at all. Like,
Yeah.
and then now she's sitting up there with a broke knee, and I haven't wanted to fix her because it doesn't feel like her time to be fixed. And it's like this whole Japanese thing too about the kitsune,
Mhm.
where not kitsune,
Yeah.
I forget the
Um,
name, but like
yeah,
where
it's similar. Yeah.
similar. Kitsune means fox. I don't know why I said that. Maybe that's kind of something coming up. But the where they glue everything back with gold, and it's just I don't know. It can be so profound sometimes when you have this like destructive thing. But like you said, it could be psychic. It could be these
Mhm.
manifestations, coming out. So
I gotta look this up. See if I can beat Jax, because sometimes she types in, see who gets to their Japanese broken pottery in gold. It is called kintsugi.
Kitsuji.
And kintsugi, and it is basically, they see when something's broken, when it's repaired with gold or whatever, it's just as beautiful, if not more beautiful,
Yeah.
because it shows that it's been somewhere that I love that. So yeah, it's beautiful. I've had poems written about that. So alrighty, what else you got to?
Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, I've been in this landscape thing, so I guess I'll do that one first, and then I will end with the childhood bedroom. That way, because it'll just feel so different, I think. But so anyway, this one's called Silent Plains, and I mean like plains, like I guess grasslands. I didn't know what to call it either in this sense, but let's see. Across a violent landscape, say the broken name silently, so the darkness may hear the warning. Tune out the washed tones, penetrate the leftover roses, impossible in their foreign gaze. scolds the scope of desire with a branch of discovery, inhabitants cleansing the liminal, transitions made in between, a touch of a natural disguise, waiting on the forgotten horizon.
Ooh, nice. And looking for getting us ready here. All righty. So, folks, when while Lennon is reading her last poem, if you want anybody who would like a reading poem from her and I, go ahead and just put me in big capital letters, and I'll start because my StreamYard won't let me star comments anymore for some reason. I can't star or pin stuff, so I'm going to ask people now to start putting it into chat so that I can, get the list down for us to start. So,
okay. All right. Well, I'm ending with childhood bedroom, and I only named this because I really don't know where this poem came from. So, and it just kind of felt like a childhood bedroom, so that's what we're going with. Echoes shimmer, not the sound, knowing what it speaks, but not how. The mirror hoists faint looks, casting idols on the windows. Cherry waterfall aesthetics, sickening this frail weakness. Many obscurities will pale if matter come looking for its eyes. Take a wide breath and breathe the fires of steam. Let out, but the winds are howling, and the battles fallen have won.
there was something, I think, 4 lines up. And I wanted to, I'm like, oh no, don't do that. That I don't want to end. But you said, can you read that again? And now there was a line.
Which one? The whole thing?
Yeah, can you start and then I'll.
Echoes shimmer, not the sound, knowing what it speaks, but not how. The mirror hoists faint looks, casting idols on the windows. Cherry waterfall aesthetics, sickening this frail weakness. Many obscurities will pale if matter come looking for its eyes. Take a wide breath and breathe. The fires of steam let out. But the winds are howling, and the battles fallen have won.
Yeah, with the eyes. Yeah, I mean, wow. There were a couple. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to play back and, rewatch and re-listen to your poems. That's amazing. So, all righty. Woohoo. We have Jax asking for a reading. We have Irene. And so you were talking about folk art. Have you seen the Seasons of the Witch decks for the Sabbats and
Yeah.
also, oh my God, it's typically not my type of art. If you told me last year that I start collecting these years, I'd be like, that's not, but I got one. I got Maven and I was just like, there's something magical about these.
No, I can definitely feel the magic in them. I don't have any of them because I'm one of those that when they first started coming out, I was like, okay, I'm not even starting because if I ever got them, I would have to have the whole set to feel.
That's what I'm going to
have just one. Like I couldn't just have, like a lot of people just have the Samhain one and I couldn't. I was like, no, I can't. Like knowing that it's called Samhain and knowing that the creators want to do like all the Sabbats, I was like, no, I'm going to have to wait. So, now
I
what
was actually gifted the Samhain. That was, so I was so I have my Maven, my Samhain, my Yule, Selena, Essence of the Moon, gifted me my in bulk, and so next one up will be Astara. So, and I'm also going to pull one I just got When Women Had Wings after all these years, and I'm like, girl, what you wait for so long for? This is just beautiful deck.
What decks are you using right now?
The Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot for Yule through in bulk, and When Women Had Wings. Have you seen that? Look at that. I just love already the edging's coming off, but I love me Jenna Del Gratalia. She's,
Well, I'm used to using my simple. I've had this on my desk. It's just my emblem oracle, so it's my symbol oracle, which it allows for so much to come out because you get like a color and all that. So are you pulling cards and then writing? Is that how
Usually
you
that's what I do. Yeah, I'll pull cards and then I'll write. And then lately it's like I think I read the poem first and then I do the reading. It's whatever
do it? Okay.
feels like. And good night, Fatima. You, Odelia, John, all be safe and we'll see you next time. So
Okay.
let's see.
I need to stop shuffling or I'll never get to writing a poem. Oh, I got it. Right there. Um, okay, now are we doing one person at a time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I usually do
'Cause
it.
I'm working on Mangled Unicorn. What was her name again?
Jax.
Jax. That's right, Jax. Sorry,
Her name
Jax.
is Jacqueline. We call her Jax.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah, she's the sass. She's the one that likes to smack her sassy. Well, oh, I smack, you smack, we all smack. All right.
Because mine, I'm not stuck, but it feels like I'm done and it's very small, but I feel like
Yeah, mine are short too.
the message didn't need to go further. So, but the message is clear though, because for Jax, the reading, I'm going to do the reading first because that's how I would process it, just so you'll know where the poem's coming from. But I got the death card, and I can never really figure out where the cameras are. I got the death card in Shining Tribe,
Ooh.
which is so beautiful. And then I got the food card from my emblem oracle. So I was like, okay, we're eating death, right? And that felt very, it felt very like you've been sick or you found out that you were sick or something like that, like something along those lines. So I wrote, I ate death's face, climbing the sun rays to a time with no name. Fallen flowers drift along the bare streams, for we eat as we dance with death.
Ooh.
So,
And I kind of say you nailed that.
huh?
Ooh. So I said you pretty much nailed that because she's been doing things with having things going on with health. So light bulb. Okay. Light bulb. Maybe she's thinking.
I hope
So
so. I hope it was a good message.
So Jax, I couldn't choose between the decks. So I did pull the Winter Wheel and the Initiate of Winter Swords, which is the Page of Swords. So this is just basically, and I mean, girl, you got all swords. So this is a lot of, again, the following our thoughts, how we communicate with others, with ourselves. With the Initiate of Winter Swords, that is messages coming through that are messages coming through that are much more clear. There is an excitement. There is an excitement of looking forward, of learning, communicating, different ways of thinking and perceiving. And even though there's no actual sword in the card, it's like splitting. It's like splitting the. I keep just saying splitting the astral, splitting the dimensions, and feeling that energy coming in through. And with the winter wheel, of course, the winter wheel is kind of right now frozen. It can't move, so you kind of feel like you're in this limbo right now. So your other two cards was the King of Swords. So for me, this card has come up for you before. So you are the one that is in the role of the king, being grounded, being fair in how you speak to others, how you communicate with others. You have extreme insight, and that you share that with others. But I also, on the bottom, I got the Five of Swords. So again, another card, acknowledging, choose your battles wisely, my dear. A lot of these similar cards we've gotten for you before. So again, the drama, and you may have to pick up a sword. You never know, but when you get to that into that situation, knowing when they're to stand up to that or when to walk away. In your poem, I have is the wheel is frozen, but it hasn't forgotten. The light of swords glinting off stones once built for a king, rising with the ice blue dawn burning in his eyes, his countenance reflecting in her swords, fracturing thoughts into fragments. And that's what I have for you, my dear. Thank you for letting us read for you.
Yeah.
And she's and she says, oh, right on. And then got to get back to taking care of me now. Had some emergencies with family. And I keep my pimp hand strong because you never know. She's a hoot of fun. Let me tell you. I keep telling her, you got to create your own deck, because you know how you have the rebel deck and the bitch deck and all this.
Yeah.
Her things that she comes up with in my chat, I'm like, girl, you need to put those on cards. I mean, you can't. Oh, you can't. Yeah,
People would eat that up.
they sure would.
I did get the eat card. Suppose when you got the swords for her, I got thinking that what if it was the knife, like the butter knife from my food card, because it was a knife and a fork. And I thought, if we're using the swords as a tool, like we would a fork or a knife, then we need to like somehow slice through the bull crap to get to what's actually going on. And I had that thought too. So I guess that's how we'll end that.
Yeah, cutting through the bowl.
Yeah.
So next up is Irene. We've only had 2 requests so far, Jackson, Irene. We are at 5:26. So would you like this to be the last read? Would you like to end?
Yeah. I'm in an ice storm, and I don't know. I mean, the temperatures are plummeting, and if my power goes out, then we're pretty much screwed. So,
well, it's to be expected. A lot of people here, that's probably why Miss Nancy's not here either, because she loves the poetry, but she's in North Carolina.
And I know that she's getting ravaged right now if she's there. So, like out there, the wind's howling and stuff, and I'm like, don't.
I love howling winds, though. I love a good
storm. I do too. We've got fire. We got a fire going in the fireplace, and I was like, all you hear is like the whistling of the wind.
I put those videos that on YouTube, and you got to be careful because sometimes they insert a damn commercial, and you're like, oh, no, son. Oh my God, what the hell? So
that's so happy.
Be careful which ones you choose.
Okay, let's see. Let me get a picture. Okay.
Yeah, that is Irene.
Yeah. Now again, I'm using the Shining Tribe and then my Emblem Oracle to get a symbol, and then we'll write. Ooh.
I always do that.
What? When you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And people are like, what? What is she? Were you all said, did you want to go first, or are you still running?
No, I'm good. That's another because we were like short on time and everything. I just keep them short to the point for this instead of letting them drag out because I could spend days when I pulled just
Mhm.
I could spend days trying to figure out what. But I'll go. So I got the Two of Rivers, which is like the Two of Cups in the Shining Tribe, which is a beautiful card. I love this deck. And then I got the peace symbol. Oh, peace symbol. Here we go. Peace. And of course, the Two of Cups being a peaceful card anyway, but the Two of Rivers is about convergence. And so I wrote, converge the truce coming. So the truce, right? Like you're going to compromise on something. Converge the truce coming. Wells never run dry when peace screams. The fragrance back to your soul place.
Ooh,
So,
interesting.
so it kind of feels like there's something coming, but it's like a truce. It's something that is going to be making peace. And when the peace screams back at you, that's when the fragrance will come back to the flower that is you. If I, that's what I got from that.
That's kind of interesting because I've got something with smell and woods and herbs and things. So interesting.
Mm.
So, Irene, you got Initiate of Winter Cups, which is the initiates are the pages. So this is the Page of Cups, and of course the pages are the ones that feel deeply. This could also, I feel, may resonate too with you, with your child, that that you share with us, that you have a little bit of a tumultuous relationship with. But for me, this feels like tapping into your inner child. This is where I'm feeling it more going, tapping into your inner child, and connecting again with what makes you happy. The cups, you know, our creativity, our intuition, our dreams. And it's so cute. The little fish is like leading him out of the cup. It's like that he's like leading them through the night. And then your underlying energy is the artisan of winter pentacles, which is the considered a knight. So you have artisan of winter pentacles, and this is taking the time to step back and mix and dry and blend. It's about study. It's about taking time to look at all aspects of life, of situations, events, or just looking at your own life. She's putting together a beautiful little mixture here, and it feels like, almost maybe like a tea that you can drink that maybe might help you do a little flying at night. But no, it's basically her gathering her herbs, everything that she needs, and taking her time to study and to mix, and just feeling like at home. She's got her hearth, she's got her warmth. And Irene's very much of the woods, of nature when she can. So that's really why I wanted to use this deck, because she's an earth mama. She's an earth crone. And the poem I have for you, my dear, is moving through the darkest places of your emotions. The night breathes into you, into your soul. The moon dark conspiring in your favor, stepping through the woods, herbs embedded in the cloth of your flesh, warmth of the fire, ascent to your breath, ascent to your, wait a minute. Sometimes Heather writes too fast and she leaves words out. Warmth of a fire, ascent to your breath, breathe life into death. I have to rewrite that one. I'm sorry. That all kind of, sometimes I write faster than I think than
I know. I totally get it.
So pages always make me think of my bratty daughter. Well, let's embrace your inner child on this one here. So, and she says, "Oh, I love that, Lennon. Thank you." And she says, "Mushroom tea for me." And Amazi agrees with you. He says, "Can I have some?"
The mushrooms, like she said, the mushroom tea and the herbs that you were talking about, like making a tea and like making it, like really gives me like hippie vibes with this when this came up, like how we were so into our emotions in those times that we're so closed off now to our emotions that when you got the Two of Cups and then the Initiate of Cups with Heather, it almost felt like you were going to move towards this space of convergence, like to be able to make peace and get the truth, and then move to a place where you can start standing in your own peace and your own power. So
I love that, Irene. I would take that. I like that, what she said. So everybody, thank you. Whoops, I put the wrong thing there. I want to just take the banner down. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Lennon, thank you for joining. I hope you come back again.
Yeah, I do. I want to get together with you and Jonathan. Let's do some painting. I don't know. We'll get together sometime soon.
And so, Miss Nancy, you were in another live. But you will play back. You will enjoy this. This was a great show. We just finished our
fun, but we did miss you, Nancy.
Yes, we missed you. And again, thank you, Jax, for putting all of Lennon's links in. I still need to get a couple of her books. I still got my eye on that Immaculate Mortality, but now I kind of got to see what's what, because you're sharing this new stuff, which I really like. So we'll have to figure out.
On my link tree, the Amazon link will go right to my author page, so you'll be able to see all the books that are out there. Awesome. And then you can just pick which one you like, just pick which one you think you're going to resonate the most with, and then that's it.
Well, I guess if he has anything to say. Hello, Judith, thank you for stopping in and saying hello. To all my American chat fam, they're in the middle of the snowstorm and deep freeze. Stay warm and safe. Thank you, Judith. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Lennon. And thank you, everybody. I will be back tomorrow for the Sacred Feminine. And until next time, everyone, thank you again for joining us. Mazi says good night, too. And bye, everybody. Thank you.